Casinos are entertainment venues where people go to gamble, enjoy shows, and have fun. The bright lights, exciting atmosphere, and possibility of winning create an appealing experience. But every single element of a casino, from the carpet pattern to the air you breathe, is meticulously designed to manipulate your behavior and extract maximum money from your wallet. 1. Casinos deliberately remove all clocks and windows to eliminate any sense of time passing while you gamble. The absence of time indicators makes hours disappear without awareness of how long you've been playing. Natural light would indicate whether it's day or night, triggering natural stopping points based on circadian rhythms. The timeless environment creates a suspended reality where normal daily rhythms cease to exist. Gamblers lose track of meals, sleep schedules, and commitments outside the casino. The disorientation from time loss keeps people gambling longer than they consciously intended. Even staffed break rooms often lack clocks to prevent employees from watching time during shifts. The deliberate time distortion is so effective that people are genuinely shocked when they check their phones and discover hours have passed. 2. Casino oxygen levels are carefully controlled, and some pump in extra oxygen to keep gamblers alert and energized despite exhaustion. The increased oxygen prevents the natural fatigue that would make people leave after extended periods. The enhanced alertness from extra oxygen keeps people playing when their bodies would normally demand rest. The practice is controversial and denied by many casinos, but ventilation systems with oxygen enrichment are documented. The goal is preventing people from feeling tired and deciding to leave. Natural sleepiness is suppressed through environmental manipulation. Gamblers stay at tables or machines far longer than they would in normal atmospheric conditions. The oxygen manipulation works alongside other tactics to override natural stopping mechanisms. 3. The carpets in casinos feature deliberately ugly, busy patterns designed to keep your eyes focused upward on gaming machines. The jarring patterns prevent people from looking down and noticing exits or becoming distracted from gambling. The specific color schemes and designs are psychologically tested for maximum effect. Looking down at ugly carpet unconsciously drives eyes back to the bright, attractive slot machines. The pattern complexity makes people slightly uncomfortable, subtly encouraging them to focus elsewhere. Casino design experts specifically create aesthetically unpleasing floor patterns as a manipulation tool. The carpet strategy keeps attention directed toward revenue-generating activities. Most people never consciously notice the carpet but react to it exactly as designed. 4. Casinos deliberately create maze-like layouts with no straight paths to exits, forcing gamblers past maximum gaming opportunities. The twisted pathways ensure you encounter hundreds of slot machines while trying to leave. The bathrooms, restaurants, and exits are strategically distant from gaming floors with complicated routes. The deliberate confusion makes people pass more gambling options and tempts additional play. Lost visitors searching for exits encounter enticing games they might otherwise have avoided. The layout prevents efficient navigation and extends time spent in gambling areas. Exit signs are deliberately minimal and positioned to require navigating through dense gaming sections. The architectural manipulation traps people in the building longer than natural navigation would allow. 5. Casino chips are designed to look and feel unlike real money to reduce psychological pain of spending. The plastic tokens don't trigger the same emotional response as handing over cash. The various colors and designs abstract the value into game pieces rather than actual currency. The exchange process separates gambling from the reality of spending real money. People bet more aggressively with chips than they would with equivalent cash. The chips are specifically weighted and textured to feel pleasant and game-like. Dealers and players handle chips casually in ways that would seem wrong with actual currency. The psychological distance between chips and money is precisely calculated to increase betting. 6. Slot machines produce specific sound frequencies and musical patterns designed to trigger dopamine release in players' brains. The sounds of winning are carefully engineered to be pleasant and rewarding, even when the win is less than the bet. The auditory feedback exploits psychological reward systems separate from actual financial outcomes. Near-miss sounds create excitement similar to actual wins despite being losses. The constant beeping and ringing creates subliminal association between machines and positive feelings. Even machines nearby players using produce winning sounds to create environment of perceived success. The acoustic design of casinos is as calculated as visual design. The sound manipulation works on unconscious level to encourage continued play regardless of actual results. 7. Casinos strategically place loose slot machines in highly visible areas to create impression of frequent payouts. The winning machines near entrances and high traffic areas are seen and heard by maximum people. The visibility of others winning encourages new players to join and existing players to continue. The loose machines are loss leaders that generate perceived winning, while tight machines elsewhere extract profit. The strategic placement creates false impression of casino generosity and winning probability. The winners on loose machines serve as advertising to everyone passing by. The sound and lights from these winning machines attract attention and players. The deliberately generous machines in key locations shape perception of the entire casino's payout rates. 8. Casino staff, including cocktail waitresses, are trained to serve free alcohol aggressively to impair judgment while gambling. The free drinks are actually very expensive for the casino, but worth it for increased gambling losses. Intoxicated players make larger bets, take more risks, and stay longer than sober players. The alcohol delivery is timed to keep players mildly intoxicated throughout their visit. The loss of judgment from drinking leads to betting mistakes and poor bankroll management. Players feel grateful for free drinks while not realizing the cost and increased gambling losses. The cocktail servers are trained to appear frequently and encourage rapid drink consumption. The alcohol strategy is among the most profitable manipulation tactics casinos employ. 9. ATMs in casinos charge extraordinarily high fees, but are positioned near gambling areas for maximum convenience when money runs out. The placement ensures gamblers can quickly get more money when they've spent their intended budget. The high fees are accepted by desperate gamblers who don't want to leave to find cheaper ATM options. The machines are positioned to capitalize on the sunk cost fallacy and desire to win back losses. The convenience factor overrides the rational decision to stop gambling when original money is gone. The ATM placement and fees extract additional profit from players already losing money. The strategic positioning turns what should be a stopping point into continued gambling. The fees are pure profit on top of the gambling losses players are experiencing. 10. Casinos deliberately keep the temperature slightly cool to keep people alert and comfortable enough to stay longer. The climate control prevents the sleepiness and discomfort that would drive people to leave. The perfect temperature means people don't notice physical discomfort that would interrupt gambling. The coolness keeps players awake during late-night sessions when they should naturally be sleeping. The environmental control removes natural cues that it's time to stop and rest. Uncomfortable temperatures would provide external reason to leave that internal willpower might not provide. The climate manipulation works in concert with other environmental controls. The result is gamblers staying far longer than they would in less controlled environments. 11. Slot machines display near misses that look like almost winning, but are programmed outcomes designed to encourage continued play. The reels stop just one symbol away from jackpot deliberately to create false hope. The near miss triggers same excitement and dopamine response as actual wins despite being losses. The psychological impact of almost winning is more powerful than random losses for encouraging continued play. The machines are programmed to produce near misses at calculated frequencies. Players interpret near misses as evidence they're close to winning when outcomes are actually independent. The visual manipulation exploits cognitive biases about probability and patterns. The near miss programming is one of the most effective hooks keeping players gambling. 12. Casino loyalty programs track your gambling patterns and send personalized offers timed to bring you back when you're most likely to gamble. The data mining identifies your gambling triggers, preferred games, and losing tolerance. The offers arrive when you historically have disposable income or free time. The personalized nature makes offers seem like the casino cares about you rather than extracting profit. The timing maximizes likelihood you'll return and lose more money. The tracking knows more about your gambling behavior than you consciously realize about yourself. The loyalty programs are sophisticated manipulation tools disguised as customer appreciation. The data collection enables precisely targeted marketing to vulnerable moments. 13. Dealers and staff are trained to engage in friendly conversation to create emotional connection that keeps you playing. The personal rapport makes players feel valued and less likely to leave. The friendly interaction disguises the adversarial relationship, where house always has edge. Players stay longer at tables with dealers they like even while losing money. The social connection provides non-financial reward that supplements gambling experience. The training specifically targets making players comfortable and encouraging longer play sessions. The emotional manipulation through friendliness is highly effective at overriding financial losses. The dealers who generate most play through personality receive recognition and bonuses. 14. Casinos use specific lighting designed to be flattering and energizing while hiding fatigue and the passage of time. The warm lighting makes everyone look healthy and attractive, removing visual cues of exhaustion. The brightness levels prevent sleepiness and maintain alertness artificially. The lighting never dims to indicate evening or night, eliminating natural stopping cues. Gamblers don't see themselves looking tired or disheveled, which might prompt leaving. The bathroom lighting is slightly harsher, so people want to return to the flattering casino floor. The illumination is scientifically calculated to maintain energy and obscure reality. The lighting manipulation works unconsciously to extend gambling sessions. 15. Casino table games are positioned to require walking past slot machines to reach them, exposing table players to additional gambling opportunities. The layout ensures no player accesses only their intended game without temptation. The pathway design exposes players to hundreds of machines during every visit. The machines are strategically placed in transition areas between destinations. Even players who intended only table games get tempted by convenient slot machines. The maximum exposure to gambling options increases likelihood of impulsive play. The architectural flow channels all movement past revenue-generating opportunities. The positioning ensures even focused players encounter constant gambling temptations. 16. Casinos deliberately avoid displaying any losing imagery or reminders that most gamblers lose money. The environment is saturated with images of winners, jackpots, and payouts. The selective representation creates false impression that winning is common and likely. Actual statistics showing house edge and loss probability are never prominently displayed. The marketing and signage exclusively feature winning scenarios. The psychological impact of seeing only winning imagery skews perception of actual odds. Players develop unrealistic expectations from environment that shows only positive outcomes. The absence of any losing imagery is as calculated as the presence of winning imagery. 17. Slot machines use variable ratio reinforcement schedules, the most addictive reward pattern known to psychology. The unpredictable occasional wins create strongest possible gambling behavior reinforcement. The pattern is the same used to train laboratory animals in addiction studies. The variable reward is more addictive than predictable rewards or consistent losses. Players develop compulsive playing behavior from the uncertainty of when wins will occur. The reinforcement schedule exploits fundamental brain chemistry to create habit formation. The psychological manipulation is so effective it can create genuine gambling addiction. Casinos knowingly employ the most addictive reward structure possible in machine programming. 18. Casino hosts identify high-value players and offer them comps that seem generous, but ensure they stay and lose more. The free meals, rooms, and shows have calculated value less than expected gambling losses. The comps create obligation to gamble more to earn the perceived gifts. The hosts track spending and adjust comp levels to maximize long-term losses. The personal attention makes high rollers feel special while extracting maximum profit. The comps are strategically timed to coincide with planned departures, extending stays. The hospitality masks sophisticated financial calculation of lifetime player value. The free perks ensure whales stay longer and gamble more than they otherwise would. 19. Casinos position bathrooms far from gaming areas, requiring traversing gambling floors, keeping people engaged even during breaks. The inconvenient bathroom locations mean every trip becomes another gambling exposure. The distance discourages frequent breaks that might interrupt gambling momentum. Players encounter tempting games while heading to or from bathrooms. The positioning extends time on casino floor during what should be non-gambling moments. The architectural manipulation turns necessary breaks into additional gambling opportunities. Some players place additional bets during bathroom trips they wouldn't have made otherwise. The bathroom placement is precisely calculated to maximize gambling exposure during natural breaks. 20. Casino security extensively monitors all players through cameras, but creates atmosphere of freedom and lack of surveillance. The surveillance is far more comprehensive than most players realize. Facial recognition tracks individual players across visits and different casinos. Card counters and advantage players are identified and banned before winning significant amounts. The monitoring extends to analyzing betting patterns and detecting any statistical anomalies. Players believe they're anonymous while being individually tracked and profiled. The security theater of visible cameras distracts from sophisticated biometric and behavioral surveillance. The surveillance infrastructure would disturb most players if they understood its extent. The perception of privacy and freedom is carefully managed illusion. 21. Slot machine buttons and levers are designed with specific resistance and feedback to feel satisfying and encourage rapid play. The physical sensation of pressing buttons is scientifically tested for maximum appeal. The tactile feedback creates unconscious positive association with playing. The ease of repeated button pressing enables rapid bet cycling. The ergonomics are precisely calculated to feel natural and comfortable for extended sessions. The physical interaction is designed to be as addictive as the game itself. Some machines use haptic feedback to enhance the sensory experience. The button design removes any physical barrier or discomfort that might slow gambling pace. 22. Casinos strategically position winners in jackpot displays where new arrivals and departing players see them. The visible wins as people enter create excitement and immediate gambling desire. The departing players seeing wins are tempted to stay or return, despite planning to leave. The jackpot displays are updated in real time to show recent large payouts. The strategic visibility creates impression that winning is happening constantly. The positioning ensures maximum people witness the relatively rare actual large wins. The displays serve as constant advertising for the possibility of winning. The placement is calculated to impact people at moments of arrival and potential departure. 23. Casino staff are trained to never mention time or ask questions that would make gamblers think about how long they've been playing. The conversational training avoids any time references that might break the timeless bubble. Phrases like, "Are you here for the day?" or "heading home soon" are forbidden from staff vocabulary. The deliberate avoidance of temporal references maintains the time distortion. Staff are trained to keep conversation focused on the present moment and current game. Any mention of external schedules or time commitments is avoided. The linguistic manipulation prevents gamblers from consciously thinking about duration. The training extends to how staff frame suggestions about food or breaks without time references. 24. Casinos use scent marketing with specific fragrances scientifically tested to encourage longer stays and increase spending. The pleasant but subtle scents work on subconscious level to create positive associations. Different areas have different fragrances optimized for their specific purpose. The scents are designed to be appealing but not consciously noticeable. Studies show specific fragrances increase spending and time in casinos. The olfactory manipulation exploits how smell impacts mood and behavior. Most gamblers never consciously notice the artificial scenting, but respond to it. The fragrance systems are carefully calibrated to maintain optimal scent levels throughout the space. 25. Slot machines continue playing sounds and animations for wins that are actually less than the original bet, creating false positive reinforcement. A $1 bet returning 50 cents triggers celebration sounds and graphics. The loss disguised as win creates dopamine release and satisfaction, despite losing money. Players emotionally register these losses as wins due to machine feedback. The psychological manipulation convinces players they're winning more than they actually are. The losses disguised as wins are primary method for maintaining play, despite negative returns. Players celebrating wins that are actually losses is common sight on casino floors. The sound and light show for small returns creates perception of success, while bankroll shrinks. 26. Casino cage areas where you exchange chips for cash are deliberately placed far from gaming floors and exits. The distance provides opportunity for impulse gambling with chips on the way to cashing out. The inconvenience of reaching cashier makes people more likely to gamble a bit more first. The walk to cage exposes players to additional gaming opportunities. Winners heading to cash out encounter tempting games that might reduce their winnings. The positioning creates last chance for casino to win back some of the money leaving. The strategic distance turns cashing out into an expedition, requiring passing numerous gambling options. Some players lose significant portions of their winnings during the walk to cash out. 27. Casinos employ shills who are paid to sit at tables and make games look busy and appealing to passing players. The full tables appear more exciting and attract players who might pass by empty tables. The shills create social proof that the game is worth joining. The paid players maintain minimum action to keep tables appearing active. Most players can't distinguish shills from regular gamblers. The practice creates false impression of game popularity and player interest. The shills make gambling appear social and fun rather than isolated. The manipulation exploits human tendency to join activities that others are already enjoying. 28. Casino comp systems require players to insert cards, tracking all play, collecting detailed data on gambling patterns. The card tracking monitors every bet, game preference, time played, and win-loss patterns. The data collection is far more extensive than the free slot credits and meals suggest. Casinos build psychological profiles used for targeted marketing and manipulation. Players give up privacy and behavioral data for minor comps worth a fraction of their tracked losses. The loyalty cards enable predictive modeling of when players will gamble and how much they'll lose. The data is shared across casino networks and sometimes sold to third parties. The true cost of comp programs is extensive behavioral surveillance. 29. Casinos strategically place high-denomination machines near entrances to create impression of bigger gambling and winning. The visible large bets and payouts suggest normal stakes are much higher than average. The positioning influences new arrivals to bet more than they originally planned. The sight of others betting large amounts normalizes higher risk tolerance. The entrance positioning creates first impression that shapes subsequent gambling behavior. Most actual gambling happens on lower denomination machines deeper in the casino. The strategic placement of high-limit machines serves as psychological anchor raising spending expectations. The visual establishment of betting norms happens before players consciously register it. 30. Casino design uses curved walls and pathways to create disorientation and prevent mental mapping of space. The inability to mentally orient makes it harder to find exits or maintain sense of direction. The curves keep new possibilities just out of sight, encouraging continued exploration. The architecture prevents establishing landmark-based navigation. Players who can't confidently locate exits feel trapped and stay longer. The spatial confusion adds to time disorientation in removing bearings. The curved design is specifically calculated to prevent the cognitive mapping humans naturally do. The disorientation is intentional psychological manipulation through architecture. 31. Casinos position low-volatility games near entrances to gently ease newcomers into gambling before exposing them to house edge. The softer games give illusion of winning and build false confidence. Players winning small amounts on easier games venture deeper into casino toward higher edge games. The progression from low to high house edge is deliberately architected into floor layout. The initial success creates positive emotional state and encourages more aggressive betting later. The easier games serve as gateway to more profitable games for the house. The spatial progression mirrors addiction progression from casual to problem gambling. The floor layout creates calculated path toward increasing house advantage. 32. Casino restaurants and buffets are priced to encourage eating on property rather than leaving and potentially not returning. The food is strategically cheap enough to prevent departure, but positioned to require walking through gaming areas. The dining experience is timed to break from gambling without leaving the building. The restaurants serve as controlled breaks that keep people in gambling environment. The food pricing loses money or breaks even but retains gambling revenue. Players who leave property for cheaper food often don't return that session. The internal dining options are loss leaders, ensuring continued on-site presence. The restaurant positioning ensures maximum gambling exposure before and after meals. 33. Casinos train staff to discourage groups from leaving together by engaging individual members in conversation. The social pressure to leave dissipates when group fragments. Individual gamblers are easier to retain than groups making collective decisions. The staff interrupt group departure dynamics with targeted interaction. The group influence that might promote leaving is undermined through selective engagement. Solo gamblers making individual decisions are more likely to stay. The training specifically targets moments when groups appear to be collecting to depart. The social manipulation breaks up the collective decision-making that leads to leaving. 34. Casinos deliberately set machine seat heights and angles optimized for extended comfortable playing. The ergonomics enable hours of continuous play without physical discomfort, prompting breaks. The seating design has been scientifically tested for maximum duration tolerance. The positions prevent back pain or leg cramping that would force standing. The comfortable seating removes physical stopping cues. Players remain seated far longer than they would in less optimized chairs. The design specifically targets removing any physical reason to take a break. The seat engineering is as calculated as the game programming to maximize playing duration. 35. Casino loyalty tiers are structured to encourage increasingly higher spending to reach next status level. The tier system gamifies the metagame of casino rewards separate from actual gambling. Players chase status points that cost more in losses than the rewards are worth. The psychological motivation of tier advancement drives increased gambling volume. The near-miss effect applies to tier levels. Being close to next tier encourages more play. The status levels create artificial goals unrelated to actual winning or enjoyment. The tiering exploits competitive instincts and achievement motivation. Players consciously know tier benefits don't justify spending, but chase them anyway. 36. Casinos use losses disguised as wins, where small wins on multi-line slots cost more than they return but trigger celebration. The confusing pay structures make it difficult to track whether you're actually winning. The frequent small hits mask the overall negative return. Players feel like they're winning because of constant payouts despite shrinking bankroll. The multiple payline structure deliberately obscures actual profit and loss. The percentage of wins is high while percentage of money returned is low. The psychological impact of frequent wins overrides the reality of net losses. The confusion is intentionally engineered into modern slot design. 37. Casino floors are designed with no clear central space or gathering points to prevent groups forming and creating exit momentum. The distributed design keeps players isolated at individual machines or tables. The absence of natural meeting points prevents social dynamics that might end sessions. Groups that might collectively decide to leave can't easily regroup on casino floor. The isolation keeps gambling decisions individual rather than social. The design prevents formation of the critical mass needed for group departure. Players looking for companions to leave with can't easily locate them. The architectural prevention of gathering is calculated behavioral manipulation. 38. Casinos position change machines and ticket redemption far apart, requiring maximum exposure to games between them. The scattered service points ensure players navigate past hundreds of gambling opportunities. The inconvenience of accessing basic services creates additional playing opportunities. Players making routine transactions encounter tempting games during the process. The spacing turns simple tasks into gambling floor navigation challenges. The positioning creates multiple touchpoints with gaming options during necessary activities. Some players place bets during trips to service machines they wouldn't otherwise have made. The strategic spacing maximizes gambling exposure during non-gambling activities. 39. Casino employee break rooms are positioned to require employees to walk through gaming areas during shift changes. The staff exposure to gambling during work creates gambling habits in employees. The convenience of post-shift gambling while already in casino generates employee gambling problems. Workers observing games during shifts develop familiarity breeding playing interest. The employment and gambling environment normalizes casino attendance in off hours. Employee gambling problems are common industry-wide, partially due to environment exposure. The positioning exploits workers as additional revenue source beyond their labor. The architectural requirement for gambling floor transit targets employees as customers. 40. Casinos carefully control music tempo throughout the day, with faster music during busy periods and slower during slow times. The tempo unconsciously influences pace of gambling activity. Faster music during peak times increases betting speed and turnover. Slower music during slow periods encourages lingering and extended sessions. The musical manipulation works entirely on subconscious level. Players never consciously notice tempo changes but respond behaviorally. The rhythm influences everything from walking speed to betting pace. The carefully curated soundscape is precisely calculated behavioral engineering. 41. Casino security responds instantly to jackpots with photo opportunities and celebration to create visible winning imagery. The quick response ensures maximum visibility of the rare large wins. The celebration creates social proof and excitement throughout surrounding area. The photography generates marketing content and encourages nearby players. The immediate attention to winners creates impression that jackpots are common. The security presence prevents winners from quietly leaving with their winnings. The controlled celebration extends winner presence on floor where they might gamble more. The jackpot response is choreographed to maximize marketing and retention impact. 42. Casinos use specific ceiling heights calculated to create energy without discomfort. Too low creates claustrophobia, too high reduces intimacy. The spatial volume is scientifically optimized for psychological comfort and extended stays. The ceiling design balances openness with coziness to maintain ideal emotional state. The height prevents oppressive feelings while maintaining energy through contained space. The architectural psychology of volume affects subconscious comfort and duration. The ceiling design is tested and refined through player behavior analysis. The vertical dimension is as calculated as horizontal layout for psychological impact. The spatial engineering operates completely below conscious awareness. 43. Casinos position smoking areas to overlap with prime gambling locations, ensuring smokers continue playing. The addiction to nicotine is leveraged to maintain gambling activity. Smokers unable to leave machines or tables long enough for smoking breaks. The designated areas keep nicotine-dependent players in gambling zones. The overlap of addictions increases time and money spent. Non-smokers are steered towards smoke-free areas in less prime real estate. The smoking policy serves dual purpose of accommodation and behavior manipulation. The nicotine dependency is weaponized to prevent breaks and departures. 44. Casino staff are trained to immediately offer new players cards to anyone appearing to play without tracking, capturing data and creating loyalty. The instant enrollment prevents anonymous gambling that can't be tracked and marketed to. The pressure to get card inserted happens quickly before player establishes playing pattern. The staff training prioritizes data capture over all other player services. New players are specifically targeted for tracking system enrollment. The cards are presented as necessary for comps, while real value is player data. The aggressive enrollment ensures nearly all play generates marketable data. The prioritization of tracking reveals its true business value. 45. And finally, casinos deliberately design exits to be less attractive and harder to find than entrances, requiring conscious effort and navigation to leave. The exit signage is minimal and positioned to not interrupt gambling flow. The paths to exits are deliberately longer and less obvious than paths deeper into casino. The architectural flow naturally moves toward more gambling rather than toward departure. Leaving requires fighting against designed traffic flow and spatial logic. The exits are positioned to make departing seem like wrong direction. The doors themselves are often unmarked or designed to not look like exits. Some exits require badge access or lead to confusing areas rather than direct outside routes. The difficulty of simply leaving the building reveals the depth of manipulation in every detail. The entire physical structure is designed around preventing the one action that stops revenue: walking out the door. Every element from carpet to ceiling, from sound to scent, from layout to lighting is precisely calculated to keep you gambling longer than you intended, betting more than you planned, and leaving poorer than you hoped, proving that casinos aren't just games of chance. They're sophisticated psychological warfare where you're the target and every weapon is invisible. These casino tactics prove that nothing inside a gambling establishment is random or accidental. Every detail is weaponized psychology. What makes these manipulations particularly effective is that they work entirely on subconscious level while you're consciously focused on the games. The lesson is that casinos are designed to exploit human psychology, and that awareness of these tactics is the only defense against their effectiveness. Subscribe if you found these casino secrets as disturbing as we did, and remember that in a casino, you're not just playing against the odds. You're playing against a building specifically designed to make you lose.